watching America Trends. I'm Mary Burt-Godwin, and you know what this music means? Friends, it's What the Tech with Mr. Brad Rambur.
Clickety click click.
What the Tech. There's a lot of What the Tech going on out there.
Yes.
First of all, we need to talk about this music because it is you playing the music. You are also a pilot. You're a cybersecurity expert. You're a math nerd.
Oh, yeah.
Your dad. I got to meet your kids the other day. We ran into each other in the parking lot of some bagel shop
If
or
we
something.
were in the mafia, we would have called that I got made in the
Oh,
parking
you
lot.
did get made. Yeah, yeah.
Totally.
Well, I saw your kids and I said, why do those faces look familiar? Because they look just like you.
Poor them.
Poor them. No, I told you they're good looking kids. Okay, we're going to get to business because we've got quite a lot of topics.
Yeah, lots.
The first one, Google and cops using Google to solve crimes.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways, this scares me, and in a lot of ways, I love it because good for them. Bad guys can't do bad things because they're going to get paid. They're going to get found out. So talk to me about all the ways in which Google is being used by cops to solve crimes.
Well, let's start with something that was really important in the article that I had to dig around to find out. The cops need a warrant to get that information. Okay? So that means they just can't go out and look it up like Joe Civilian.
They don't have a backdoor channel to Google's analytics.
They may, but my understanding is it requires a warrant. They
Okay,
may
got
have
it.
a standing warrant for something, but I think that has to do with a particular individual and probable cause. Not a lawyer, not a police officer,
Right.
but
But that makes sense that they can't just go searching a random fella. Can't search our Google history unless they have probable cause.
Yeah, I used to work for a telco provider, a wireless service, and for the person who fielded the requests from law enforcement
Okay.
to give law enforcement data based on probable cause.
And we've been talking about this is happening on Facebook is giving this information out, or Meta, I should say, all the big platforms. But Google in particular has, they have search history, which is one thing I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Are you searching how to put arsenic in my husband's coffee or whatever? I don't know. I know that's been a case before,
Yeah,
right?
that's an additional and troubling and comforting conversation. So the practical matter is this. We use devices. We accept the terms of use, and we wander around with our pocket brain, and we make our world better. We're surrendering a lot of information about us and about our behaviors that companies can supply to law enforcement to help find where we're doing bad stuff, if we're doing bad stuff, or if we're just where we are. You don't want this misused to perpetrate a crime. You want it used to resolve or,
I mean, it's
arrest
used
for crimes.
for both weaponized,
Yes,
as
yes.
I like to say, as you taught me. However, it's comforting for me to know, as a parent, I gotta say, I tell my kids all the time, I'm gonna find out because I've got you on Life 360, unless you get the burner phone, but then I'm gonna figure that out.
Because where are you getting the money for the burner phone?
Right,
Yeah.
You're gonna get caught. And there's cameras everywhere, there's Ring devices everywhere, there's other friends with cell phones. I mean, we had a situation with a friend of a friend that was puking in a living room, and it was found out because of cameras everywhere.
Sure.
Other kids were filming this kid, And so it's really, on one hand, it's hard to be a kid because you can't get away with anything. But as a parent, I feel very comforted. And then as a civilian, I think, okay, people perpetrates a crime against me. There's going to be ways to find them.
I think that the crux of this is, we're a nation of laws. Are we acting, operating, conducting ourselves in the law? Do we know all the laws? Do we know if we're breaking a law? Right? And so we're using all these devices to make our lives personally better, but we don't realize what we're surrendering, our anonymity. So because these things are so, between DNA and a cell phone, think about how much work gets done in finding when bad stuff goes on and bad people commit bad stuff, right?
Right, but it's easier now.
Oh yeah, I mean, 30 years on, we identify people that have committed crimes.
So, this was saying Google maintains one of the world's most comprehensive repositories of location information. Because you're using Google Maps. I use Google Maps.
Sure.
I don't use the Apple Map as often. That's turned on, but Google Maps is my go-to. So then it's pinging cell towers. It's
Your phone is-
tracking my whereabouts.
This
Right? This is tracking
prop
everything.
has a GPS antenna in it. You don't
And
need
so
to talk
that
to the
is
Wi-Fi.
the terms and services, the fine print that nobody takes the time to read, except for probably you.
Not even lawyers.
Do you take the time to read it?
I have to write them.
Oh, so you know what they say. That makes sense. That's why
Yeah.
you're here, Brad.
Yeah.
So should I call you before I'm signing the terms and services agreement?
You should just read it and be careful about getting yourself to the top of the roller coaster and then getting on the dive down.
I read about the first paragraph and I think that's too much for my brain because it's a bunch of legalese and stuff that I don't really
We kind of
understand.
we need Cliff's notes for those things.
We do. Absolutely. That's what you're here for. Let's have a whole segment
I am the
on-
walking Cliff's notes for end user license agreements.
on
Absolutely.
terms and conditions because it's just sometimes words that I don't want to sift through.
Yeah.
And really, okay, here's where I get to in my brain. I'm going to get this device. That's the fact of the matter. Whatever. If I disagree with the term and condition, I'm still going to click yes because I want the dang phone. So why do I need to read it? That's kind of where I'm at. And that's what they count on.
Precisely, and the more you can obfuscate the conditions in that big long document in really small print, the more likely they're going to be able to rely on your emotional desire to just use the thing and click and go.
Yeah. I tell you what I do now because of this segment is that when it's asking me to opt in for tracking or whatever it is,
Nope,
I click through and I confirm my choices.
And you'll notice that the button to select all is highlighted in the default.
Absolutely.
You literally have to go the opposite
Yes.
direction to say just what's necessary.
Just what's necessary. And it's different in every interface, but I do it, not every time, but
Yep.
a lot of times.
Yep.
So I'm patting myself on the back right here.
I've got one for you.
Okay.
How many times a day do you think I click do not allow Google to track my location? Just doing my job.
Oh, how many times?
Give me a number. What do you think?
25.
You're pretty darn close.
Really? Okay.
I have been tracking, and it's typically around 3 dozen a day.
So wait, that's a pop-up. Where are you getting that? In everything?
Yeah, so let's say a web page. Let's say I want to go buy a paintbrush at Home Depot. And I look at HomeDepot.com to make
Yes.
sure that they have the right kind of paintbrush in the store that I want to go to, which is normal. Why would you use a computer for, kind of thing. And then it says Home Depot would like to use your
Yes.
location. No, thank you. But where do they get that, right? So it's built into the website. There's location tracking. Is that because I clicked on a Google ad for Home Depot? Or is that because I just went direct to the Home Depot site? So that's an example of a Home Depot use.
Okay, so in a case when I might say yes is when I need to find the closest one to me.
Sure.
And so I guess I could just say no and then go to the store locator and put my area code in or
Zip code, sure.
But they're going to figure me out anyway.
That's
so
more
why-
work for you. And then, but
Is it better though to do that?
I would argue because you're not just default allowing everybody to track who you are and what's going on.
Okay.
And because of that, I have to click don't allow, don't allow, don't allow, don't allow, don't allow.
I typically click don't allow unless I think
Yep.
I need them to know where I am.
Home
and I
Depot
don't really
says-
care if Panera follows me.
Allow for a day. And
Allow for a day.
And then they
yes.
ask you the
Yes.
next day.
I do that. I do allow for
Yeah.
the day or whatever.
And by the way, that's in some Apple browser settings if you're an Apple customer that says do not track my location. Turn location services off.
But it'll still ask you. That's when it has to ask
Well,
you.
but a web browser will.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Okay, so let me just close out this loop on this Google solving crimes. This quote that says, you can't go anywhere without being traced somehow. So whether it's Google or one of these apps, something on your device is tracing you.
We're back to free economics. People respond to incentives. Big companies have incentives to make money. How do they do that? If they track you and they know where you are, they're going to know more likely what you want to buy. So when you're looking at their product, they can put ads in front of you, and then maybe their customer, who's the one who purchased the ad, can sell you something. And that is the circle of life on the pocket brain.
My brain thinks, well, I want to be sold to things that I want to buy. So I'm okay that they track me.
I have a cousin who is an e-commerce web front-end marketing professional. He's talking with his wife, and he says, yeah, I was thinking, maybe we want to look at Volvos. And in an hour,
In the hour,
it's
yeah.
popping up. He's like, wait a minute.
What is that? What is listening? I mean, I literally need to know.
Siri, Alexa.
All of it.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
all
Oh,
listening.
yeah.
And companies like Volvo have enough money to pay whatever they need to be paying so that I just think there's what is the
Do you remember the
agreement?
drop in ad revenue when Elon proposed taking away the blue tick marks on
Yes.
Twitter X?
Yes.
X Twitter? Whatever it's called now? Yeah. Same thing. That's the feedback loop you're looking at economically.
Okay, we went down a large rabbit hole. We've got a lot of topics, so can you stick around?
Absolutely.
We've got some more. We got to rock out to this music. We've got Brad Rambur, our favorite cybersecurity expert. We've got some other topics. We're working from home. Is this good or bad? We're going to say tech yes or tech no.
We're going to say tech discuss in the next
Tech,
segment.
maybe. We got Gen Z, ChatGPT, all sorts of stuff coming up right after this quick break.